Welcome back, Guardian. Welcome to the Ristophilus Dungeon Guide. We're now at the final part of the dungeon, the Cradle of Damnation on normal mode. There is going to be a legendary and a master version of this entire dungeon, but we're going to go over the normal mode, the flawless strategy, not so much of a beast mode strategy, but a guaranteed way you can get your emblem and get that flawless victory. So when you first walk into the Cradle of Damnation, this is what you're going to see. You'll see the boss at the bottom, and then if you look left, center, and right, that's where the three bosses are going to be. Starting from the left side, it's going to be a knight, just like in Necropolis. You just swipe it with your melee button till it's dead. Then if you look center, that's going to be the Shrieker. You use your block button to ricochet the projectiles back at it to kill it. And then to the far right, that's where the wizard's going to be, and you use your shoot button, which shoots projectiles out of the sword. Each time you kill a boss, they'll drop a ball, and there's these dump stations where you go dump these balls at. It's important that you never dump the ball that is in front of where you killed the boss at, because the big boss will be standing there and he can slam and knock you off the map. The first thing that you want to do is clean out every ad in the center area. The reason you want to do this is because you're trying to get a flawless victory, and they'll follow you around, throw grenades, the thrall will follow you up the stairs to kill the mini bosses, and it's just something you don't want to deal with because you're trying to get a flawless victory. Like I said earlier, we're not going to be doing any beast mode methods, we're going to be doing a guaranteed method. So there's probably faster ways to do this, but I'm just going to show you the way that will just guarantee that you don't die, and you can get your emblem, and then you don't have to worry about anything else pretty much the entire time, as long as the pattern is followed and repeated over and over again. The mechanics are all the same, so now that all the ads are dead, you're going to grab a sword. You're not going to go kill bosses yet though. What you're going to do is, if you don't have hive armaments, you're going to use this sword to clear out the ads before you start killing the bosses. The reason we want to kill the ads first is because they're kind of a pain. They'll be throwing grenades at you. The little small pinches of health they take away can add up, plus the boss will be shooting at you. The big sword knights that drop those swords, they can't come up the staircase. They can go on the stairs, but once you get to the top, that's kind of like their barrier where they don't cross, so be careful when they come up there. It's not as important that you kill all the ads on the Shrieker side, because you can use your block button to ricochet the Acolyte bullets and the Shrieker bullets back at it, and nobody can really damage you unless they throw a grenade at you. Splash damage can hurt you when you're blocking. That goes for the wizard splash damage and those grenades from the Acolytes. So once you kill the Shrieker, go ahead and knock out every ad, make sure there's nothing left because they'll follow you down the stairs. They'll be throwing grenades, long tosses at you and stuff like that. So grab the orb and then go to your dump station, and always dump it where the boss is not. So he's not here right now, so I'm going to go ahead and just dump it here. But when we kill the wizard and the knight, I'm going to dump opposite side of where I was at when I killed the boss. So if I kill the knight, I'm going to dump it on the wizard side. When I kill the wizard, I'm going to dump it on the knight side. Always remember that every time you dump an orb into that dump station, it's going to spawn more thrall, so make sure you clear out the center area and then head over to the other bosses. Now that you've cleared every ad, you don't have any threat except for the mini boss, and the way that you kill him is just swipe twice and then block, swipe twice then block. When you get your super, use that. Then swipe twice and then block again. Just keep doing that until he's dead. You can knock him off the map, but he'll respawn in the center again. But if he does bust your shield off, just jump away and recover. But it's easy to kill him. Just keep swiping twice and blocking, and then when you pick it up, you'll see the boss is right in front of that dump station like I talked about earlier. So dump it on the opposite side. That way you have no threat of being knocked off the map. Once you slam it in, more thrall are going to come out. So again, keep the center area always cleaned out. Throw grenades to proc your hive armaments. After that, kill the knight, and then grab the sword, and then head over and finish off any more acolytes that might be alive over here, and then after that, you're going to start killing the wizard by using your shoot button with the sword. If you hang out in a doorway, sometimes you can just hop side to side, but be aware of splash damage. You can block the projectiles coming at you, but if they splash the ground, it doesn't count for that, so you'll be chipped away with damage. So just keep hopping back and forth in that doorway, grab the orb, slam it in, and now it's time to do the boss DPS phase. It's important that you don't use your super until towards the end, because what can happen is, if you're too close to him, he'll slam his sword down, and he'll blow you way off the map, and you can use your super to negate that blast and save your life. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to use your super until he's almost about to slam his sword down for the final phase of his DPS phase. He will spawn Cursed Thrall. They're not that much of a major threat. Just keep jumping around. Sometimes they'll gather up, like right here. You can use your hive armaments to get 3 more rockets if you're using 2 rocket reserves. It's only 2 rockets if you have 1 reserve on. The most important perk to have on your gauntlets is reload speed, so you can keep doing fast DPS, because you don't have very much time to do a lot of damage to him. Whenever the boss slams his sword down, it'll do like some kind of phase where flames will start coming up. You have about 4 seconds to get out of there, then he'll do a blast, and the whole strategy basically repeats itself. More ads are going to spawn, so kill all the ads. After all the ads are dead, you're going to kill the black and green knight, you're going to pick up the sword, and you're going to do the exact same thing you did last time. Use that sword to clear out all the acolytes first on each side of the boss. It's not as important on the Shrieker because you can use those acolytes to your advantage to ricochet projectiles, but if you don't have a lot of ammo or if you don't have hive armaments, it's better to use the sword instead of wasting your own ammo because you need as much ammo as you can get when it comes to the boss phase. We slam the orb in, it's going to spawn more thrall again. We pick a sword up, we go and finish off all the bosses because there's no threat now since we cleared every ad out. We slam another ball in, so we clear them, and then we head over to the knight, do the exact same thing, swipe twice, then block, swipe twice, then block again, all the way till he's dead. And here is a lucky example of what can happen when you slam a ball in near the boss. He slams his sword, and it could have blown me off the map. You want to eliminate that threat, or that risk of being blown off the map, because that ruins your flawless emblem, and you got to start the entire dungeon all over again. The same mechanic will happen again. He's going to summon more cursed thrall out, so just keep dumping rockets, stay in the air the whole time, listen for audio cues for how close the cursed thrall are to you, and then also use your hive armaments if you have it to keep getting more rockets and keep dumping over and over. And then right towards the end of the phase, you're going to use your super. He's going to slam his sword down again, and then you have 4 seconds to do a little bit of extra DPS and then get out of the circle before you die. I'm pretty sure the legendary and master difficulties are going to have new mechanics to be able to stay alive during that phase. There's plates all around the map that I believe you're probably going to have to stand on, but we don't really know yet. But after you do your boss DPS phase, either use the sword to down all the ads or use your rockets or whatever you got to do. Then walk over to a knight, pick another sword up, or if you never picked a sword up to begin with, pick up your first sword, and then start doing the phase all over again. Here's an example of splash damage from a grenade. As you saw right there, I was blocking, but the splash damage still damaged me. Here's a pretty vital tip. Never let go of the block button when you have the sword, because you can still shoot projectiles out of the sword and still swipe, but whenever you're not doing anything, if you just never let go of block, it'll always be up, so you're never at risk of forgetting to block. It lets you still use a sword by just holding down block the entire time. Just remember during the entire boss DPS phase, the boss reacts the exact same, except he'll slam his sword down and there's cursed thrall. So I'm just going to jump around to show you what he does. This is pretty much it. He's not that difficult, but I have a feeling in master and legendary difficulties, he's probably going to have new mechanics. But it's not that difficult on normal mode. Just be aware of the cursed thrall, and then just keep dumping your rockets as normal. And then right before the phase ends, you're going to use your super and hold on to it until then. I'm going to show you an example of this right here. I'm going to jump towards the boss on accident. He slams down. I'm about to get blasted off the map, so I use my super to negate it, and that saved me from having to start the dungeon all over again. So that's why it's really important to not super right away, because it's a life support tool if that situation ever happens. Now the boss is slamming again, we have that 4 seconds to do damage, then we hop out, and it's really just a rinse and repeat every time until he's dead. So we grab our ammo, 2 rocket reserves, and field prep, gives me 4 to 5 per brick, so 2 bricks, I'm full ammo, and then with the hive armaments I get 3, so I'm just going to dump all my rockets over and over until all these ads are cleaned out. I'm going to kill a knight, just as you saw me do the previous times, go over there, kill every boss, slam in all the orbs, start the last DPS phase, and I still recommend, even though he's going to be almost dead, to not super until the end, because you never know, when you're trying to do solo flawless especially, random things can just happen, so just keep to the strategy until the very end, and that is going to be how you do a flawless dungeon at the Cradle of Damnation. I hope you enjoyed this, Guardian. If you liked it, leave the like. If you have a fire team that needs to watch this before you try it yourself, share it with a friend. Hit subscribe if you want more content. I appreciate all of you who view. I will be making guides for the Master and the Legendary difficulties whenever those launch, so stay tuned for those. Also more build videos on the way as well. I'm going to be moving on to the Titan and the Hunter as soon as I'm finished with all the Warlock builds. But anyways, my name is Ristophilis. I hope you enjoyed the Ristophilis Dungeon Guide, and I'll see you next time.
In space.